Game 7, Toronto. Now, not quite as exciting as what we got to see last night for those Blue Jays fans who were tuned in to Game 7, Blue Jays-Mariners, to send the Blue Jays to the World Series. But nonetheless, somewhat of an exciting one here tonight for the Maple Leafs as they go head-to-head against Sheldon Keefe's New Jersey Devils, who look pretty good right now, I must say, against a Leafs team that doesn't necessarily look that inspired, maybe is the kindest way to put it. Hopefully that changes here tonight. Anthony Stolarz does call out the team as a whole, William Nylander, Brandon Carlo in particular, without actually saying their names following the final game, which I'm completely okay with, and I think Anthony Stolarz had every right to do. Look, the beginning of this season has been flat. It's been uninspired, to use the word again, as I already did off the top. And it's actually been rather pathetic when you talk about the effort that we've been seeing. And maybe part of that for myself is going from watching Blue Jays games where you're watching this invigorated team whose never say die attitude is inspiring, to the Maple Leafs, who seem to not quite give a you-know-what that they're out there, and they're just going through the motions and playing because they have to. And sure, it's October and it's early, and maybe we can't make these judgments about the team and what could ultimately end up happening, but it's kind of hard not to jump on them when a lot of this stuff seems to be things that pop up in the postseason, and notably things that eliminated them from the postseason. And we don't have to look that far back when we could just go to Game 5 and Game 7 of the second round against the Florida Panthers last year to draw immediate connections to a team that just kind of looks like they don't care. It's tough to be a Maple Leafs fan when you watch stuff like that go on. It's tough to root for the group when you continue to watch players who aren't sweating, I guess, is the best way to put it. But maybe that changes. We'll dig into tonight's lineup, what changed for the lines for tonight's game. We'll also get into our best bet. It's all a presentation of Bet 365. But enough of the preamble, enough of building up what this Game 7 in Toronto against the New Jersey Devils could be. Game 7 of the regular season. It's not quite the same, but regardless, something that Leafs fans will be tuning in for because there's not something else occupying the airwaves for tonight's game. Let's get on over to tonight's lineup and dig into what has changed leading into Game 7 for the Maple Leafs, courtesy of our friends at Daily Faceoff. Now, taking a look at what we've got here, first line for the Maple Leafs comes with our first change. Easton Cowan, healthy, scratched for tonight's game. Max Domi takes his spot on this line. I am not entirely sure I'm supportive of the decision. Look, I get the idea of, and I'm in support of, to be honest with you, the idea of if Easton Cowan is not going to be playing big minutes and being given opportunities here at the highest level, okay, yeah, send him to the Marlies or whatever. But obviously here tonight, he's just healthy scratched. It kind of could potentially be the first step to sending him back to the Marlies and letting him play there. But I look at Easton Cowan and think he's one of the best 12 players that the Maple Leafs have to offer to go out on forward. In which case, I would keep him here. I right now would have him above Maccelli and Robertson. I think he was playing better and with some more fire than Dakota Joshua, who I'm still looking for to get going. I don't know. I'm not going to throw a fit over it, but Easton Cowan coming out of the lineup, a little bit surprising to me. Now, to look at it the other way, I could see him being moved around, and where I'm going with this is Max Domi goes onto that line. I wonder if just for the sake of, let's get on your horses and get a spark going, you throw somebody like Max Domi into that first line to just be like, here's a firecracker, we're going to throw him in there and see how you deal with it, and kind of let Matthews and Knies be the guys who are like, okay, yeah, we got to watch this guy who's going to go out there and get in every scrum, where Knies is also going to do that. Like, okay, now we can maybe get some life out of you guys, like that. Maybe that's the idea, and I'm not going to oppose that, especially it's early in the season. Like, we're not talking about game 1 playoff roster, but the Cowan out of the lineup, interesting to me. Again, not going to throw a fit. I just think he's been one of your best players. I think he's deserving of a spot in your lineup right now. To take him out, again, maybe send a message. Maybe that's what's going on here, and it's not a message to him. It's a message to the rest of the guys. God, I don't even know. I'm grasping at straws right now. These guys got to get going. They got to get some legs under them. Whatever it needs, whatever it takes to get it going. Okay, sure. I'm behind it. Down to your second line here, Matias Maccelli, John Tavares, William Nylander stick together. Again, kind of tying back to the Cowan thing, I'm not sold on Matias Maccelli. Think Cowan has been more impactful, better player than him so far to this point in the season. Even just in the minimal sample size we've had of Easton Cowan, I've preferred him. Matias Maccelli is a good playmaker. He's very skilled. He's a fast guy. I feel like he's scared of physicality. I feel like he's not interested in going into, and taking a hit. It's not like we're watching a guy who won't go to the front of the net or won't go to the corners. He will go there, but if he doesn't have to, he would rather not. And when I look at the other guys on his line, I feel like that's not what they need. Tavares and Nylander, I don't think that they're looking for another playmaker. These are two guys who are very capable of making plays on their own. Like, they need a guy who's a horse, a guy like Bobby McMann, Matthews-Knies, who could fill that spot and go there and play alongside them, who can just be that guy who's going to bring pressure, who's going to bring energy on the forecheck, who's going to finish checks. Like, that's the kind of player I personally think they need. Again, I'm talking here on camera. I'm not behind the bench, so what the hell do I know? But Matias Maccelli just doesn't seem to be the fit, and also the risk-reward that we get out of this guy, you saw it with a guy that they had here before who's now moved on to Vegas, but there would be, hey, here's SportsCenter #1 play of the night, the leading off in the morning highlight pack, and then there would also be the blooper reels that would feature the no-look backhand cross ice, or the Matias Maccelli backing up through the neutral zone against the Rangers, or through the slot against the Rangers, throwing a pizza that gives them a prime opportunity. Like, he comes with those, and I don't think he brings enough elsewhere or brings enough production for those negatives right now to outweigh or to be outweighed by what's happening on the positive side. I just don't see it there. He remains on that second line, though, and there's not much we can do about it other than complain, I guess. Third line, Dakota Joshua, Nick Waugh, Bobby McMann. That is your third line for tonight's Leafs game. I see this line constructed with a pure intent in mind. Build an identity. Like, you have very specifically put together this group to do one thing. Be heavy, be hard on the forecheck, and establish a goddamn cycle. Like, that is what these guys can do out there. That is your checking line. I've never seen a Leafs team put together more of a checking line. Like, we've always had the air quotes checking line where you're like, this guy could be a checker. No. Checking line. Line 3, checking line. I want more fire out of Dakota Joshua. I saw an article the other day. Anthony Petrielli, he put out the article about Nick Waugh and the usage he's got where he's not getting enough defensive zone time or facing off against the top matchups. Completely what I thought he was going to be used here for, where it was like, okay, let's get Matthews and Tavares away from these because we've got a third-line guy who can go out there in the D zone and who can take draws and defend in crucial moments late in the third period, whatever, in a tie game with the 1-goal lead, down 1 against the top lines from the other team so that we can free up Matthews, so we can free up Tavares. Hasn't been the case so far, which I'm kind of surprised by. I don't know. It's been an interesting usage of the player. Down to your fourth line, Nic Robertson, Steven Lorentz, Calle Jarnkrok will be the guys. It seems like we are basically like at the end of Nic Robertson's time here. And I'm not just saying that because I don't like the player, and look, he's on the fourth line. I respect and appreciate everything Nic Robertson does from an effort standpoint. This guy busts his balls every single second he's on the ice. I will never, ever fault him for that. And to be quite frank with you, I actually have a tremendous amount of appreciation for what he's done and the fact that he has grinded every single second. Like, it's not like we're watching a player saying, man, if you just gave it more, maybe you'd have it. No. Like, credit to Nic Robertson. He busts his balls every time he goes on the ice. I just don't think it fits here in Toronto. Like, here I am saying this, and then it's Matias Maccelli in the second line, who I just went on a spiel about, who I don't think fits there. But you look at who's been in the top six in the past, he's never going to be a guy who's going to jump those guys. Again, I think Bobby McMann is the fit for the second line, so I would rather have McMann there than Maccelli on the second line, and then I would have McMann ahead of Robertson, but who knows, maybe it's Robertson that you should be putting there as of right now. But anyways, the point being, I just don't know that he fits here. It's kind of the end of the line. That's where we're at with Nic Robertson. Lorenz, Järnkrok, I'm happy with these guys. Järnkrok, obviously, and Lorenz slotting back in. Lorenz was injured. I think that these guys have been bringing energy. I don't know that Berube was in love with Järnkrok's game a couple games ago, and that's probably why he ends up taking him out of the lineup, but he's back here, and I just think he's like a reliable, mature player that, you know, for the most part, you're going to be able to trust to make smart decisions with the puck, who's going to be committed to the defensive zone, that kind of stuff. That's your forward lines for tonight. Not too much else to break down elsewhere in this lineup. You look down to your defensive pairings. It's going to be the same as usual. Morgan Rielly, Brandon Carlo, Jake McCabe, Chris Tanev as your second pair, Simone Benoit, Ekman Larsson as your third. These guys just need to be more physical. They need to be more punishing. They need to make the net front a lot more difficult of an area for opposing teams to go to and to try to plant themselves. Like, it just seems too easy when you play against the Maple Leafs. They're big, they're heavier, they don't play more physical, or they don't play more mean, I guess is the way to play it, than what they've played in the past. I think that they are a little bit harder to win battles against, that kind of stuff, just because they are naturally heavier and bigger, but I don't think that they're meaner than what they've been, and I think they need to get to some of that. Like, you're not ever trying to injure players or anything like that, but you can send messages. The Florida Panthers send messages. The Boston Bruins, when they were at the top of their game, send messages. The Avalanche, the Dallas Stars, look down the line of teams that go every single year. Panthers, Lightning, they send messages. You can make sure other people are aware you're not going to come here easily. You're not going to get your free space in front of the net that you can just work with and do whatever the hell you want. It's not going to happen. You can send messages. That's your defensive units for tonight's game. I think they need to be a lot better. They need to be meaner. Again, Morgan Rielly, this is the battle I think I'm going to continue to have with Leafs fans, unfortunately, throughout this year. I personally have come to grips with what Morgan Rielly is. Don't love the fact that he's being paid what he is for what you get out of him. He's not the greatest defensively, and in Craig Berube's system, I don't think that it makes him, stand out as this like amazing player who's going to look really great every time he's out there. It's actually probably going to make it look like he's got a little bit more warts than even you've seen in the past when he's playing with Sheldon Keefe or Mike Babcock or whatever. It looks a little bit worse right now than it has been. But offensively, he seems to have found some confidence, and I can at least appreciate that. He's contributing from the back end, which is not something that the Leafs defensemen have done much in the past couple of years. He's on the board here. He looks more comfortable with the puck. Yeah, he makes some dumb decisions. It happens. But I think for the most part, Morgan Rielly's getting back to the offensive side of the game. And for that, I can at least say, hey, some of these defensive woes I can look past, but they're easier to do if his partner is supporting him. And right now, I feel like Brandon Carlo has not been carrying the weight that he maybe should. So, yeah, it looks a little bit worse. I'm giving Rielly a little bit of slack right now. More so than I think probably Leafs Nation is, and I kind of get it because of how long he's been here and what we need, but the fact that we're at least looking at a positive, him going back in the right direction offensively, I'm like, okay, like, he's not just that black hole out there. My thoughts, you don't have to agree with it. Goaltenders for tonight, Jake Allen for the Devils, Anthony Stolarz in net for the Toronto Maple Leafs. No surprise there. It seems like he's going to go basically every game unless it's a back-to-back, which, fair enough. We're going to find out quickly if he can handle the workload of a starting goaltender until Joseph Woll returns, if at whatever point that is. Let's now get to our best bet segment presented by Bet365. The best bet segment is a presentation of Bet365. Whatever your bet is, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app and get in on the game. Use the code NATION, NATION. That's code NATION at Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. Best bet tonight. Easy. We lost the last one, unfortunately. That was Easton Cowan to record a point against the Seattle Kraken. We had a half unit on that one at plus 132. So for those keeping track, which I am all season long, I don't know, maybe the easiest way is to give access to the sheet or something that we've got this stuff tracked in. But the season total right now, we are a profit of $193. We are 4-4 record on the year that we are currently at right now. So 4-4 record on the season, but we are profiting $193. A half unit is 50, 3/4 75, full unit 100 there, obviously. Tonight we have two bets, both for a half unit. We're going to jump on over to the player prop section of Bet365 right now. Before we do, quickly, New Jersey Devils plus 100 tonight. The Maple Leafs minus 120. A total of 6 that just moved right in front of your very eyes. 5.5 plus 100 to the under, minus 120 to the over. Let's go to the player prop section here tonight. We have goal scorers. 2 goal scorers. The first one, we can stay right here on this screen. William Nylander, anytime goal scorer, plus 175. Easy as that. $50 on Nylander, plus 175. And then the other one is Matthews-Knies at plus 240. $50, a half unit on Matthews-Knies, plus 240. Those are our two best bets. Anytime goal scorer, reminder, half unit on both. Nylander, plus 175, anytime goal. Just taking these things straight up. Plus 175 on Nylander, plus 175 on Matthews-Knies, anytime goal for both these guys. And if you were wondering what those pay out, $87.5 on a Nylander goal, and Matthews-Knies anytime goal is a $120 profit. Again, quick reasoning behind these. Matthews-Knies, dog, workhorse, plus 240. I just like the number at it. It's the best in market when you look at plus 240 there. Bet365 has the best number by far as well. I mean, getting called out, and this applies to the other guy here as well for the reasoning. Getting called out, I feel like Knies will take that upon himself to be like, I got to go, I got to drive, I got to be better, and I can, and I feel like he's going to lead the way. The other guy, William Nylander, not necessarily about him leading the way, but responding. He was called out for the back check in the overtime on the Mahura goal against the Kraken. He responds when people call him out. We saw it when Berube called him out the other day, and all of a sudden against Nashville, whoa, he's got some fire. He's got some legs under him. I think it happens again here tonight after being called out by his own teammate in Anthony Stolarz. Those are my best bets for tonight. If you liked the video, hit that like button. Subscribe here to the channel, Leafs Nation 401, right here on YouTube. Make sure to turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. In the comments below as well, what do you think of tonight's game? What are your predictions? What are your best bets? Do you like mine? Do you have your own? I want to hear them all. As well, what do you think about the lineup and the decision to take Easton Cowan out? Thanks, everyone, for watching. Make sure to hit that like button. I will see you all back here following tonight's game after the final buzzer for another edition of Leafs Nation After Dark. Until then, keep believing. For more content just like this, including game previews, post-game live shows, Leafs Morning Take, Monday through Friday with Nick Alberga and Jay Rosehill with special guests, as well as instant reaction videos. Make sure to be subscribed here to the Leafs Nation YouTube channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss anything, and drop a like.